I'm lying in bed with a fever of 101.3, my head pounding like someone's hitting it with a hammer when my phone lights up on the nightstand. It's 9:47 a.m. on a Tuesday. I've called in sick exactly 4 times in the last 3 years. This is number 5. The notification is an email. From my boss, Mr. Donnelly. The subject line makes my stomach drop even through the fog of fever. Regarding your employment status. I open it with shaking hands. Caleb, if you can text me to say you're sick, you can work from home. Your absence today during a critical project phase shows lack of commitment. Effective immediately, your employment is terminated. IT will revoke your access within the hour. Do not contact team members. HR will send exit paperwork. I read it 3 times. Fired. For being sick. For having the flu. I've worked for this company for 11 years. I built their entire server infrastructure from the ground up. I'm the senior systems lead. I designed the system that handles $50 million worth of client contracts. And I'm being fired by email because I have a fever. My hands are shaking. Partly from the fever, partly from shock and rage. I want to call him. I want to scream. But I'm so foggy from being sick that I can barely think straight. I forward the email to my personal account. Then I take a screenshot. Then I forward it again to another personal email. I'm documenting everything, even though I don't know why yet. Instinct, maybe. Self-preservation. 10 minutes later, another email. This one from IT. Your company accounts have been disabled. Please return all company property within 48 hours. Just like that, 11 years. Gone. I close my eyes and try to process what's happening, but my head is throbbing too hard. I need water. I need medication. I need to understand how my life just fell apart in 10 minutes, because I caught the flu. I'm drifting back to sleep when my phone rings. Not my regular phone, my old emergency phone, the one I keep in my drawer, the one that's connected to the data center emergency line, the one that almost never rings because everything I built is supposed to be bulletproof. It's buzzing nonstop, call after call after call. I grab it and see 7 missed calls in the last 3 minutes, all from the same number, the data center vendor. My fever-addled brain tries to make sense of this. Why would the vendor be calling my emergency line? Why would they be calling at all? I answer the 8th call. Thank God. This is Andre from SecureHost Data Center. We've been trying to reach you for 20 minutes. I'm sick. What's wrong? We received a cancellation notice this morning for your on-call support contract. The one that's been in place for 6 years. The one tied to your authorization. We need to verify this is legitimate. My blood runs cold despite the fever. I didn't cancel anything. The email came from your company's admin account. It says all emergency contacts should be removed and the support tier should be downgraded to basic response only. Is this correct? No, absolutely not. Who authorized this? According to the ticket, it was requested by a Mr. Donnelly. He said it was a cost-cutting measure. Mr. Donnelly, my former boss, who just fired me, who's now cutting the emergency support on the most critical system in the company. Andre, I need to tell you something. I was just fired. This morning. I no longer work for the company. I don't have authority to make any decisions about that contract. Silence on the other end. Then, oh no. What does this mean for response times if something goes wrong? If the system crashes, response time doubles, maybe triples. We'd have to escalate through normal channels instead of the priority line. Caleb, that system can't be down for more than 30 minutes without major penalties kicking in. You know that. I do know that. I designed the whole thing. I negotiated those client contracts. I set up the redundancies. And I warned them. I warned everyone that we needed shared access, backup administrators, proper handoff procedures. They ignored me. To save money, to avoid unnecessary expenses. And now my former boss has just cut the emergency support line the same day he fired me. Andre, I can't help you. I'm not authorized anymore. You'll need to contact the company directly and get new authorization paperwork. Get it in writing. Everything in writing. Understood. Caleb, good luck. I have a feeling you're gonna need it. He hangs up. I lie back in bed, phone in hand, head spinning. Something bad is about to happen. I can feel it. The company just cut off the safety net on a $50 million system, the same day they fired the only person who really understands how it works. And somehow I know they're going to find a way to blame me for whatever comes next. My emergency phone buzzes again. Another call, then another, then a text. Urgent, system showing unusual activity, need authorization to investigate. I don't respond. I can't respond. I'm not authorized anymore. I'm just a guy with the flu, lying in bed, watching my life's work potentially fall apart because my boss decided to fire me for being sick. Welcome to my nightmare. Let me tell you who I am, because it matters for understanding how we got here. My name is Caleb Torres. I'm 46 years old. I've been working in IT infrastructure for 24 years. I'm not flashy. I'm not the guy who makes big presentations or networks at conferences. I'm the guy who makes sure everything works. The guy who's there at 3 a.m. when something breaks. The guy who plans for disasters before they happen. 11 years ago, I joined Apex Solutions when they were still small. 12 employees in a converted garage space. Big dreams, but no real infrastructure. They just landed their first major client and needed someone who could scale their systems fast. That someone was me. I built everything from scratch. The server architecture, the backup systems, the security protocols, the emergency response plans. I spent 16-hour days for the first year, making sure every piece was solid, redundant, and bulletproof. The never go down server, that's what they called it, that's what I built. A system so reliable, so carefully designed, that we could promise clients 99.97% uptime. That's less than 3 hours of downtime per year. That's almost impossible in this industry. But I did it. We did it. And because of that system, Apex Solutions grew. From 12 employees to 200, from 1 client to 30, from a garage to a 3-floor office building downtown, from a small startup to a company with $50 million in active contracts. I helped build that. My system made it possible. Every client contract, every expansion, every success story, they all ran through infrastructure I designed. And how did they thank me? By treating me like I was disposable. When Apex brought in Mr. Hath Donnelly 2 years ago as VP of Operations, things changed. He came from a big tech company, wore expensive suits, used words like synergy and optimization. He looked at everything like it was a line item to be cut. Including me. He didn't understand the technical side, didn't want to understand it. He just saw costs. He saw my salary and decided I was overpaid for just keeping servers running. He saw the support contracts and called them unnecessary insurance. He saw the backup systems and said we were over-engineering for problems that never happen. I tried to explain. I wrote reports. I gave presentations. I showed him the client contracts with penalty clauses. If our system goes down for more than 30 minutes, we pay thousands of dollars per hour. If it goes down for more than 4 hours, clients can terminate their contracts without penalty. He didn't care. He wanted me to cut costs, trim the fat, make everything leaner. I refused to cut things that mattered, refused to eliminate redundancies, refused to compromise the system's stability just to save a few $1,000s a month. That made me difficult. That made me someone who didn't understand business. That made me a target. But here's what really made me a target. I was the only person who fully understood the system. I built it. I maintained it. I was the one who knew all the passwords, all the access points, all the emergency procedures. I was a single point of failure, not by choice but by circumstance. I warned them about this multiple times. I sent emails, I scheduled meetings, I literally wrote a report titled Critical Risk, Single Point of Access and presented it to Mr. Donnelly 6 months ago. His response? We'll address that next quarter. Budget is tight right now. Next quarter came and went. Then another, then another. The single point of access remained me. Because here's the thing, fixing that problem costs money. It means hiring another senior systems person. It means training them. It means proper documentation, proper handoff procedures, proper redundancy and human knowledge, not just technical systems. Mr. Donnelly didn't want to spend that money. He'd rather save $100,000 a year than protect a $50 million business. And now I'm lying in bed with the flu, fired by email, watching it all potentially collapse. My phone buzzes. A text from Nate, one of the systems engineers on my team. He's 28, smart, eager to learn. I've been mentoring him for 2 years. Caleb, what the hell happened? Donnelly just told the team you faked being sick. He said you called out because you're irresponsible. Is that true? My hands clench around the phone. Faked being sick. That's the story he's telling. I text back. I have the flu, 101 fever. He fired me by email this morning. None of what he's saying is true. 3 dots appear, then disappear, then appear again. Finally, holy shit, I'm so sorry, this is insane. Yeah, it is. What are you gonna do? I stare at that question for a long time. What am I gonna do? I don't know yet, but Nate, be careful, document everything. If he's lying about me, he'll lie about anyone. I will. Caleb, the system. Are you still the only one with full access? And there it is, the question that matters. Yeah, I am. And I warned them about that for months. They ignored me. Oh no. Yeah. Oh no is right. I close my eyes and try to rest. But my emergency phone is still buzzing. The vendor is still calling. The system I built is running on borrowed time, and I'm no longer responsible for saving it. That should feel like relief. It doesn't. It feels like watching something you love catch fire and not being allowed to put it out. But I'm not responsible anymore. They made sure of that when they fired me by email for being sick. Now they'll live with the consequences. And somehow, I know they'll still find a way to blame me. The next morning, my fever breaks. I wake up feeling slightly more human, though my body still aches and my head feels full of cotton. But I'm functional enough to drive. Functional enough to go clear out my desk before Mr. Donnelly decides to invent more lies about me. I get dressed, moving slowly. Every muscle protests. I should still be in bed, but I need to get my personal belongings before they accidentally throw them away or claim I abandoned them. I drive to the office, the same route I've taken for 11 years. The parking garage, the elevator, the 3rd floor where the IT department lives. It's all muscle memory. When I walk through the door, everything goes quiet. My team, the people I've worked with for years, the people I've trained and mentored and helped through countless late-night emergencies, they all look at the floor. Nobody makes eye contact. Nate looks up once, gives me a small nod, then looks back down at his keyboard. His face says, "I'm sorry." His silence says, "I can't help you. I understand." They're scared. They've seen what happens to people who cross Mr. Donnelly. They just saw me fired by email for being sick. They're not going to risk their own jobs by being sympathetic to me. I don't blame them. But it still hurts. I walk to my desk in the back corner. It's the same desk I've had for 11 years. Photos of my daughter's graduation. A coffee mug from the first Apex company picnic. A small plant that somehow survived my neglect. My things. My life. I'm pulling open my drawer when Mr. Donnelly appears. He materializes like he's been waiting for this moment. "Caleb, I didn't expect you to come in today. Still sick?" His tone is mocking. He doesn't believe I was ever sick. "I'm here to clear my desk." "Good. While you're here, we need to have a conversation. In the conference room. Now." He doesn't wait for an answer. He just walks toward the conference room, expecting me to follow. After a moment, I do. What choice do I have? Inside the conference room, there's a woman from HR I've never seen before. She's young, maybe 30, wearing a stiff blazer and an uncomfortable expression. There's a laptop open in front of her and a stack of papers. "Sit down," Mr. Donnelly says. "It's not a request." I sit. "We need to go over the exit process," HR woman says. Her name tag says Ashley. "There are some immediate needs regarding system access and proprietary information. I'm aware. IT already disabled my accounts yesterday." "Not all of them," Mr. Donnelly interrupts. He leans forward, elbows on the table. "We need every password, every access code, every backdoor you've set up, every single way you can access our systems. Hand them over. Now." I look at him calmly. This is the moment he's been waiting for. The moment he thinks he has power over me. "I don't keep passwords," I say. "We use approved key vaults and password management systems. Everything is documented according to company policy. The password vault is accessible to anyone with admin rights." "Don't play games with me, Caleb. You built that system. You have access nobody else has. I want it, all of it, right now." "Then you'll need to access the key vault. IT has the admin rights now that my account is disabled." His face flushes red. "You're lying. You have private access. You've always had private access. That's how you've kept yourself essential. That's how you've held this company hostage." Held the company hostage. That's rich, coming from him. Everything I did was documented. Everything follows company IT policy. If there are access points you can't reach, that's a failure of planning, not my problem. It's absolutely your problem. You're going to give us everything we need to run that system, or what? I interrupt. You already fired me. What else are you going to do? Ashley, the HR rep, clears her throat nervously. Mr. Torres, we need your cooperation to ensure a smooth transition. The company is willing to offer you 2 weeks of severance pay in exchange for 2 weeks? I worked here for 11 years. In exchange for full cooperation and a signed agreement that you'll provide all necessary access information. I already told you. Everything is in the password vault. Everything is documented. I have no private access. This is technically true. All my administrative access goes through the company's systems. But what they don't understand is that those systems are complex. They're layered. They require knowledge that can't just be handed over like a set of keys. Mr. Donnelly stands up suddenly, his chair scraping back. He leans across the table, getting in my face. Then we'll get them from your laptop. The company laptop you've been using. That's company property. It has every login, every access point, every piece of information we need. My laptop was confiscated yesterday by IT when you disabled my accounts. Good. Then they'll find what we need. I don't say anything. Let them try. Let them dig through my laptop. They'll find everything properly documented, properly stored in company systems, exactly like it should be. They'll find nothing wrong, nothing improper. But they also won't find simple answers. They won't find a neat list that says, here's how to run everything. Because that's not how complex systems work. I need you to sign this, Ashley says, sliding papers across the table to me. This is your voluntary resignation form. It states that you chose to terminate your employment and that you're leaving on good terms. I pick up the paper and read it. It's exactly what she said, a complete lie. It says I voluntarily resigned. It says I left on good terms. It says I'm not owed any additional compensation beyond 2 weeks severance. I'm not signing this. You have to sign it to get your severance. I don't have to sign anything. I was terminated. You fired me by email. This document is false. Mr. Donnelly slams his hand on the table. Sign the damn paper, Caleb. No. Ashley looks between us nervously. She whispers to Mr. Donnelly, he doesn't have to sign if he doesn't want to. Then he gets nothing. No severance, no reference, nothing. I didn't expect to get anything anyway, I say. I stand up. Are we done here? We're done when I say we're done. Sit down. No, I'm gonna clear my desk. If you have any further communication, it needs to go through writing. Email me. Don't call. Don't approach me. Everything in writing from now on. I walk out of the conference room. Behind me, I hear Mr. Donnelly say something to Ashley. Then I hear him say louder, so I'll hear it. He's already emailed legal. We'll be hearing from lawyers soon. Good. Let them try to explain firing someone for being sick. Let them try to justify lying about why I was terminated. I go back to my desk and start packing my things. Security shows up 5 minutes later. 2 guards I've seen 100 times. Guys who usually wave at me in the hallway. Now they're here to escort me out. Sorry, Caleb, one of them mutters. Orders. I understand. Just let me get my personal items. They watch as I pack up my photos, my coffee mug, my plant. I leave behind anything that might be considered company property. Notepads, pens, even a jacket I bought, but wore mostly at work. I walk out with my box of belongings, security on either side of me like I'm a criminal. My team watches from their desks. Nobody says goodbye. Nobody wishes me luck. Only Nate catches my eye as I leave. He mouths 2 words. I'm sorry. I nod. It's okay. I understand. As I'm walking out the front door, I hear Mr. Donnelly's voice behind me. One last parting shot. You'll regret this, Torres. You'll regret not cooperating. I don't turn around. I just keep walking. Because he's wrong. He's the one who's going to regret this. He just doesn't know it yet. I drive home with my box of belongings in the passenger seat. My coffee mug rattles against my plant pot every time I hit a bump. Physical evidence of 11 years reduced to objects that fit in a cardboard box. When I get home, I dump everything on my kitchen table and just stare at it. This is my career. This is what I have to show for more than a decade of 60-hour weeks and midnight emergency calls and sacrificed weekends. A coffee mug and a plant. I should be angrier. I should be raging. But mostly I just feel numb, exhausted, used up. My phone buzzes. My regular phone this time, not the emergency one. A text from a number I don't recognize. This is Nate's personal phone. had to use it because they're monitoring work phones. Donnelly just held an emergency meeting. He told everyone you had private access to the systems and refused to hand it over. He said you're sabotaging the company. He said if anything goes wrong with the server, it's your fault. He's building a case against you. I read it 3 times. He's building a case against me, accusing me of sabotage before anything has even happened, setting me up to be the scapegoat. My hands start shaking. Not from fever this time, from pure anger. I text back, tell me everything he said. The response comes quickly. He said you planted a kill switch in the system, said you probably triggered it when you got fired, said we need to find it and disable it before it causes damage. IT is going through every line of code you ever wrote. A kill switch. That's what he's telling people. That I deliberately planted a self-destruct mechanism in the system I spent years building. The system I warned them had vulnerabilities. The system I begged them to properly staff and maintain. That's insane. There's no kill switch. The system is vulnerable because they refuse to fund proper redundancy. That's completely different. I know. Some of the team knows. But Donnelly is convincing, and people are scared. The clients are asking questions. The system has been acting weird since yesterday. Acting weird how? Slow response times, intermittent connection issues. Nothing major yet, but people are nervous. Of course it is. Because Mr. Donnelly canceled the priority support contract. Because the vendor can't proactively monitor the system anymore. Because the safety net is gone. And when it fails, not if when, everyone will believe it's my fault. Everyone will believe I sabotaged it. Because Mr. Donnelly is already building that narrative. Nate, listen to me carefully. Document everything. Every word Donnelly says. Every accusation, every claim. Write it down with dates and times. You might need it. Okay, Caleb, I'm sorry. This is so messed up. It is, but you've got to protect yourself. Don't defend me if it puts your job at risk. Just document. I will. Good luck. He stops texting. I sit in my kitchen, surrounded by the remnants of my career, and try to think clearly. Mr. Donnelly is smart, evil but smart. He's not just firing me, he's destroying me. He's building a story where I'm the villain, where any system failure is my fault, where I'm the saboteur, instead of the person who tried to prevent this exact situation. And the worst part? It might work. Because I am the only one with full knowledge of the system. I am the single point of failure. And when that system fails, because it will fail eventually without proper support, everyone will believe I did it on purpose. I need help. Legal help. Someone who understands employment law and can cut through the lies Mr. Donnelly is spreading. I pull out my laptop, my personal one, not the work one they confiscated, and start searching for employment lawyers in my area. I find a name that keeps appearing in reviews, Paula Reed. Former prosecutor, now specializes in wrongful termination and employment disputes. Her reviews say she's tough, thorough, and doesn't back down. I call her office. The receptionist says she's busy but can squeeze me in tomorrow morning if it's urgent. It's urgent, I say. Can you give me a brief summary of the issue? I was fired by email for taking a sick day. Now my former boss is accusing me of sabotage and building a legal case against me. Oh, and I'm the only person who fully understands a $50 million system that's about to fail because they refuse to properly staff it. Silence on the other end. Then, hold on, let me talk to Miss Reed. I wait. I hear muffled conversation in the background. Then a woman's voice comes on the line. Strong, clear, no nonsense. This is Paula Reed. Did I hear you correctly? They fired you for being sick? Yes, by email, while I had a documented fever. And now they're accusing you of sabotage? Yes, even though I haven't touched their system since being fired. Do you have documentation of the termination? I have the email. I have texts from coworkers about what's being said about me. I have my own medical records showing I was actually sick. Good. Keep everything. Don't delete anything. Can you be here at 9 a.m. tomorrow? Yes. Bring every document you have. Every email, every text, every piece of paper. Bring your employment contract if you have one. Bring any performance reviews. Bring everything. I will. And Mr. Torres, don't talk to anyone from your former company. Not on the phone, not in person, not through text. If they contact you, tell them all communication needs to be in writing through your attorney. That's me now. Understood? Understood. Good. See you tomorrow. She hangs up. I sit there feeling like maybe, just maybe, I'm not completely alone in this. My emergency phone buzzes again, another voicemail from the data center vendor. I don't listen to it. I can't. I'm not authorized to handle anything related to that system anymore. But I know what's happening. The system is degrading. The support is gone. The response times are increasing, and when it finally crashes, because complex systems always crash eventually, everyone will blame me. I open my laptop and start writing down everything I can remember. Every meeting where I warned about single-point access. Every email where I requested budget for redundancy. Every moment where Mr. Donnelly dismissed my concerns. I write for 3 hours. By the time I'm done, I have a 15-page document detailing every warning I gave, every risk I identified, every time I tried to protect the company from exactly what's happening now. Tomorrow, I'll give it to Paula Reed. And then we'll see who really sabotaged this company. Spoiler alert, it wasn't me. That night, I can't sleep. My body is exhausted from fighting the flu, but my mind won't stop racing. Every time I close my eyes, I see Mr. Donnelly's face. I hear him telling the team I planted a kill switch. I imagine the system failing and everyone believing it was my fault. At 2:15 a.m., my emergency phone rings. The data center vendor again. I shouldn't answer it. Paula told me not to communicate with anyone related to the company, but this isn't the company. This is the vendor. And they're calling my personal emergency line for a reason. I answer. Hello? Caleb, it's Andre again. I'm sorry to call so late, but we have a situation. What kind of situation? The company just canceled the entire on-call support contract. Not just downgraded it, canceled it completely, effective immediately. They said they're moving to a different vendor. I sit up in bed. They what? They canceled. But here's the problem. The contract is in your name. You're the authorized signer. We can't legally transfer service to a new vendor without your signature, releasing us from the current contract. Andre, I told you. I don't work there anymore. I have no authority to sign anything. I know, that's the problem. The company is demanding we transfer everything to a new vendor, but we can't do it without the authorized signer's approval. That's you, and you're telling us you're not authorized, so we're stuck. Who at the company is demanding this? A Mr. Donnelly. He called our office 3 times today. He's been very aggressive. He said if we don't immediately transfer service, we're in breach of contract, but our legal team says we can't transfer without proper authorization, which means we need your signature. This is insane. Why would they cancel the contract? Mr. Donnelly said it was too expensive. He said they found a cheaper vendor. But Caleb, the contract terms specifically state there's a 90-day notice period for cancellation. They're trying to cancel immediately. That's not possible. And even if it were, we can't transfer system access without the authorized signer. I run my hand through my hair. This is a nightmare. Mr. Donnelly fired me, then tried to cut costs by canceling the support contract, but he didn't realize the contract is legally tied to me. So now they're stuck. They can't transfer to a new vendor. They can't get support from the current vendor because they canceled. They're operating with no safety net at all. What happens if the system crashes right now? With no active support contract, we'd treat it as a new client request. That means it goes into the standard queue. Response time would be measured in hours, not minutes. Maybe longer if we're busy. Hours. For a system that has 30-minute penalty clauses, exactly. I close my eyes. Andre, I can't help you. I'm not authorized to sign anything for that company. You need to tell Mr. Donnelly that if he wants to cancel the contract, he needs to follow the proper 90-day notice period and get proper authorization from someone who actually works there. We've told him that multiple times. He keeps insisting we're being difficult. That's not my problem anymore. I'm sorry, Andre. I really am, but I can't help. I understand. Caleb, I've been doing this for 15 years. I've never seen a company cancel critical support like this. It's suicide. You know that, right? I know. I tried to tell them. They didn't listen. Well, good luck. I have a feeling you're going to need it. He hangs up. I lie back in bed, staring at the ceiling in the dark. They canceled the support contract. They cut the safety net completely. And they did it without understanding that the contract was tied to my authorization, so now they're stuck in legal limbo with no support at all. This is beyond stupid. This is negligent. This is dangerous. And somehow, when it all falls apart, they'll still blame me. I don't sleep. I watch the ceiling slowly get lighter as dawn approaches. At 6 a.m., I give up and get out of bed. I make coffee. I take a shower. I try to prepare myself for the meeting with Paula Reed. At 8:30, I'm sitting in her waiting room. Her office is nice, clean, professional, with framed law degrees on the wall. The receptionist offers me coffee. I accept, even though I've already had 3 cups. My hands need something to do. At exactly 9 a.m., Paula Reed comes out to greet me. She's in her 50s, African-American, with short natural hair and sharp eyes that miss nothing. She's wearing a suit that looks expensive but practical. She shakes my hand firmly. "Mr. Torres, come with me." Her office is organized chaos. Files stacked neatly on shelves, a whiteboard covered in notes, 2 computer monitors on her desk. This is someone who works hard and stays busy. "Sit," she says, gesturing to a chair across from her desk. "Tell me everything. Start from the beginning." I do. I tell her about being sick, about the email termination, about Mr. Donnelly's accusations. I tell her about the support contract cancellation, about the vendor being stuck, about the kill switch lies. She takes notes on a legal pad, occasionally asking questions. When I finish, she sits back and looks at me. "Do you have the termination email?" I pull out my phone and show her. She reads it carefully, then has me forward it to her email. "Do you have documentation of the warnings you gave about system vulnerabilities?" I pull out a thumb drive. I have 15 pages of notes, meeting minutes, emails, risk reports, everything. "Good, we'll go through all of it, but first, I need to ask you something important. Did you do anything to that system after you were terminated?" "No, I haven't touched it. I haven't logged in. I haven't accessed it in any way." "Can you prove that?" "System logs will show my last access was the day before I was fired. Nothing after that." "Good. Keep it that way. Do not access that system for any reason. Do not try to help them. Do not try to fix anything. Every action you take will be used against you." I understand. Now, about this vendor situation. You said the contract is in your name? I'm the authorized signer. It's been that way for 6 years. Standard procedure for the person managing the system. And they canceled it without your authorization? They tried. The vendor won't release the contract without my signature. Paula leans back in her chair, a small smile forming. That's interesting. That's very interesting. Why? Because it means they're stuck. They fired you, but they're still dependent on you for critical business functions. That's leverage. That's wrongful termination ammunition. That's them shooting themselves in the foot. I don't want leverage. I just want them to leave me alone and stop lying about me. I understand. But Mr. Torres, Caleb, you need to understand something. They're not going to leave you alone. They're building a case against you. Your former coworker confirmed that. They're going to blame you for any system failure, and they're setting up documentation to support that narrative. We need to fight back. And to fight back, we need leverage. What kind of leverage? The vendor contract. Your documentation showing you warned them about vulnerabilities. The fact that they fired you by email for being sick, which is almost certainly wrongful termination. And most importantly, the fact that every action they're taking now proves you were right about the risks. She opens a folder and pulls out a form. I need you to sign this. It's a retainer agreement. My fee is $350 an hour. I'll need a $5,000 retainer to start. Can you afford that? I think about my savings. About the fact that I just lost my job and have no income. About the fact that I might need this money to live on while I find new work. But I also think about Mr. Donnelly spreading lies. About being blamed for sabotage I didn't commit. About spending the rest of my career with a reputation as someone who destroyed a company out of spite. I can afford it, I say. Good. I sign. Just like that, I have a lawyer. Just like that, this becomes real. Now, Paula says, let's talk about what we're going to do. Paula spreads my documentation across her desk. Emails, meeting minutes, risk reports. Everything I could find that showed I'd warned the company about system vulnerabilities. This is good, she says, reading through an email I sent to Mr. Donnelly 4 months ago. You explicitly warned him that having a single point of access was dangerous. You requested budget for a second senior systems administrator. He denied it. This is documented. I sent that email to him 3 times. Different versions, same message. He denied it every time. And did you follow up? In person, in meetings. I made it clear this was a critical risk. He told me to stop being dramatic, said the system was fine, that I was trying to make myself seem more important than I was. Paula nods, making notes. This is textbook negligence. He was warned of a specific risk by a subject matter expert, and he chose to ignore it for cost reasons. That's on him, not you. She pulls out another document. What's this one? That's a risk assessment I submitted to the executive team 6 months ago. I outlined all the single points of failure in our infrastructure. I prioritized them by severity. The number one item was my role, one person with complete system knowledge and access. And what was the company's response? Mr. Donnelly scheduled a meeting to discuss it. The meeting was canceled twice, then eventually just removed from the calendar. I never got a response. They just ignored it. Paula leans back in her chair. Caleb, I need you to understand something. What they did to you is bad. Firing you by email for being sick is almost certainly wrongful termination. But what they did to themselves, that's even worse. They ignored documented risks. They failed to properly staff critical infrastructure. They created the exact situation you warned them about. This isn't your trap, it's theirs. But they're saying I sabotaged them. Of course they are, because the alternative is admitting they ignored expert advice and created their own disaster. Which do you think they'd rather believe? I don't answer. I know the answer. Paula pulls another document from the stack. What's this calendar invite? I look at it. It's from last week, 3 days before I was fired. The subject line is Server Access Transfer Meeting. I don't know, I never saw that meeting happen. It was scheduled for next Tuesday. That's 4 days from now. The attendees are you, Mr. Donnelly, and someone named Brian from IT. Do you know Brian? He's junior IT staff. He handles desktop support, printer issues, basic stuff. He doesn't have the skills or experience for system administration. Paula's eyes narrow. So they were planning to transfer critical system access to someone unqualified, without proper training, without proper handoff. It looks that way. And this was scheduled for next week, but you were fired 3 days ago. Yeah. Which means they planned to do the transfer without you, or maybe they planned to fire you right after the transfer. Either way, this shows intent. They knew you were the single point of access, and instead of properly addressing it like you recommended, they tried to do a quick handoff to someone unqualified. She sits back, shaking her head. This is even better than I thought. They're not just negligent. They're grossly negligent. They knew about the risk, they planned to address it incorrectly, and then they fired you before they could even execute their inadequate plan. So what do? First, we send a very careful email to their HR department. We document that you were terminated without cause while sick. We document that you have no access to their systems. We document that any system failures cannot be attributed to you because you have no ability to access or modify anything. We create a paper trail that protects you. Okay. Second, we send a separate email about the vendor situation. We explain that you're not authorized to sign any documents on their behalf, and that any contracts tied to your name need to be properly transferred through legal channels. We make it clear you're not refusing to help. You're legally prohibited from helping because you're not their employee anymore. That makes sense. Third, we wait. We document everything they do, every accusation, every claim, every lie. We let them dig their own hole. And when the system inevitably fails, not if, when, we'll have a complete record showing it wasn't your fault. What if they sue me? Let them. We'll countersue for wrongful termination, defamation, and emotional distress. With this documentation, we'll win, and they'll lose a lot more than a lawsuit. They'll lose credibility, they'll lose clients, they'll lose everything. She pulls out a fresh legal pad and starts writing. I'm going to draft these emails now. You'll send them from your personal email. Professional, calm, factual. No emotion, just facts. Can you do that? Yes. Good. While I'm drafting, I want you to think about something. Is there anything at all, they could use against you? Any personal access you might have kept? Any backdoor they could claim you created? Any way they could prove you accessed the system after termination? I think carefully. No. Everything went through official channels. I have no personal access. The last time I logged into anything was the day before I got sick. The logs will prove that. Logs can be manipulated. Not these logs. They're stored externally with the data center vendor. The company doesn't have access to modify them. It's part of the security architecture I built. Paula looks up from her writing. You built security measures to prevent log tampering? Of course, it's standard practice for compliance. And the company can't modify those logs? Not without the vendor's cooperation, and the vendor won't cooperate with unauthorized requests. A slow smile spreads across Paula's face. Caleb, you built a system that protects you even after you left. You created documentation they can't forge. You're smarter than they think. I just built it properly, the way it should be built. Well, it's about to save your career. Maybe your life. Let me finish these emails. She writes for 20 minutes while I sit there, drinking cold coffee, trying to process everything. This morning, I woke up feeling alone and scared. Now I have a lawyer. I have a strategy. I have hope. Maybe this isn't over yet. Maybe I can fight back. Maybe I can prove the truth. Paula finishes writing and hands me 2 draft emails. Read these. Make sure they're factually accurate. If they are, we'll send them from your personal email this afternoon. I read them carefully. They're perfect, professional, clear, factual. No blame, no emotion, just documentation. These are good, I say. Then we send them, and then we wait for them to respond, because they will respond. And when they do, we'll be ready. She stands up, extending her hand. You did the right thing coming to me. You're going to be okay. We're going to make sure of it. I shake her hand, feeling something I haven't felt in days. Hope. Maybe I am going to be okay. Maybe the truth will actually matter. Maybe there's justice in this world after all. We'll see. I send the emails from my car in Paula's parking lot. 2 carefully worded messages that document everything without placing blame. Professional. Clean. Protective. The first goes to HR. To whom it may concern, I am writing to formally document the circumstances of my termination. On date, while sick with documented fever of 101.3 degrees Fahrenheit, I received an email from Mr. Donnelly terminating my employment. As of that moment, my company access was revoked by IT. I no longer have authorization or ability to access any company systems, servers, or data. Any claims that I have accessed or modified company systems following my termination are factually incorrect and can be disproved through external system logs. I am happy to cooperate with any investigation that follows proper legal procedures through my attorney, Caleb Torres. The second goes to the data center vendor with a CC to the company's general counsel email. Andre, as discussed, I no longer work for Apex Solutions as of date. I do not have authority to sign, modify, or transfer any contracts on behalf of the company. Please direct all contract-related communications to the company's legal department. I cannot and will not act as an authorized representative for a company that terminated my employment. Thank you for understanding. Caleb Torres. I hit send on both. There. It's documented. It's in writing. They can't claim I refuse to cooperate. They can't claim I'm sabotaging. They can't claim anything except the truth. I was fired. I have no access. I have no authority. I drive home feeling slightly better. Not good, but better. At least I'm not helpless anymore. I'm pulling into my driveway when my phone rings. Not the emergency phone, my regular phone. The number is from Apex Solutions main line. Mr. Donnelly's extension. I shouldn't answer. Paula told me not to talk to anyone from the company, but curiosity wins. I answer. Hello? Caleb. Nate's voice. Shaking. Scared. I'm calling from Donnelly's office phone. He doesn't know. I needed to warn you. Warn me about what? They're trying to log into the system right now, the main server. They've been trying for 2 hours. They can't get in. Everything you set up, the authentication layers, the security protocols, they can't get through any of it. My stomach drops. What are they trying to access? Everything. The client databases, the contract management system, the billing platform, all of it. Brian is leading the attempt. Donnelly is standing over him screaming. They're panicking. Why are they panicking? The system should still be running. Access issues don't mean the system is down. That's the thing, Caleb. It's not just access issues. The system is slowing down. Clients are calling. Response times are increasing. Something's wrong, and they can't access the admin panel to see what. That's because they canceled the monitoring contract with the vendor. Without monitoring, they have no visibility into what's happening. I know. But they're not blaming themselves. They're blaming you. Donnelly is telling everyone you locked them out on purpose. He's saying you sabotaged the system before you left. That's impossible. I haven't touched anything. The logs will prove that. They're saying you could have set it up in advance, like a time bomb, that you could have programmed something to trigger after you were gone. Nate, that's insane. I would never do that. I built that system. I protected it. Why would I destroy my own work? I know, I believe you. But Donnelly has everyone else convinced. He's saying you're dangerous. He's saying you're bitter about being fired, and now you're getting revenge. I gripped the phone tighter. Listen to me. I didn't do anything to that system. If it's slowing down, it's because they removed the support infrastructure I put in place. It's because they're running it without proper monitoring or maintenance. It's cause and effect, not sabotage. I believe you, but I'm the only one. What exactly is happening with the system? Describe the symptoms. Response times are increasing. Queries that should take seconds are taking minutes. The dashboard is loading slowly. Client data requests are timing out. It's degrading progressively. I know exactly what that is. That's cache overflow. The system caches frequently accessed data to speed up responses, but the cache needs to be periodically cleared and rebuilt. That's an automated process I set up. If someone disabled that process, oh God. Brian was showing Donnelly all the automated processes earlier. He said they were unnecessary background tasks that were wasting resources. Donnelly told him to disable the non-essential ones. He disabled the cache management? I don't know. Maybe. He disabled a bunch of things. I close my eyes. They're destroying their own system. Through ignorance and arrogance, they're breaking everything I built, and they're blaming me for it. Nate, you need to tell them to re-enable everything. Every automated process. Everything they turned off. That's not waste. That's system maintenance. I can't. If Donnelly finds out I called you, I'm fired. Then tell them it's your idea. Tell them you read something online about cache management. Just get them to re-enable the maintenance processes. I'll try, but Caleb, this is bad. Really bad. The main client called. They're threatening to invoke the penalty clause. That's millions of dollars. I know. What do we do? There's no we anymore, Nate. I don't work there. You need to protect yourself. Document everything. And if they ask you to lie about me, don't. Tell the truth. Your integrity matters more than any job. Okay, I have to go. Someone's coming. He hangs up. I sit in my car, hands shaking. They're breaking the system themselves. They're disabling critical maintenance processes because they don't understand what they do. And they're blaming me for the resulting failures. This is exactly what I warned them about. Exactly the scenario I outlined in my risk reports. Single point of knowledge. No proper handoff, no documentation that non-technical people can understand, no shared understanding of what's critical and what's not. They fired the one person who understood the system, then they started randomly disabling things they didn't understand. They're like children with a complicated machine, pulling wires out because they look messy. My phone buzzes, an email, from Apex Solutions HR, the reply to my documentation email. Mr. Torres, your email has been forwarded to legal. Please be advised that any communication from you that could be construed as threatening will be taken seriously. You are instructed to cease all contact with current employees and all vendors. Failure to comply will result in legal action. I read it twice. They're calling my documentation email threatening. They're telling me to stop contacting people when people are contacting me. They're building a narrative where I'm the aggressor, where I'm harassing them, where I'm the problem. I forward it to Paula with a note. Their response to my documentation. They're calling it threatening. Her reply comes within minutes. Perfect. They're panicking. They're making mistakes. Keep everything. Don't respond to them. Let them dig. That evening, I try to relax. Try to watch TV, try to read, try to do anything except think about the disaster unfolding at Apex Solutions. But I can't stop checking my phone. Can't stop wondering what's happening with the system. At 8 p.m., my emergency phone rings. Andre from the data center again. Caleb, I don't know if you can talk, but you need to know something. The system is in serious trouble. We're getting error alerts from the external monitoring we maintain for compliance. The cache is overflowing. The database is running at 97% capacity. The whole thing is going to crash if something isn't done soon. I can't help. I'm not authorized. I know, but someone needs to know. The company hasn't called us. They haven't requested emergency support. They don't seem to realize how bad this is. Can you call them? We've tried. They won't take our calls. They think we're calling to pressure them about the contract cancellation. They're telling their receptionist to block us. Then there's nothing I can do. Caleb, if this system crashes, it's going to be catastrophic. Weeks of downtime, maybe longer. Client data could be at risk. This isn't about contracts or employment anymore. This is about protecting innocent people's data. He's right. I know he's right. But I also know that if I intervene, I'll be accused of accessing systems without authorization. I'll be accused of exactly what they're already claiming I did. Andre, I'm sorry. My hands are tied. You need to get through to someone at that company who has authority to authorize your help. We've been trying. They're not listening. Then document everything. Document every attempt to help. Document every warning. Document every refusal to listen. Because when this goes bad, and it will go bad, you need to show you tried. Already doing it. Good luck, Caleb. You're going to need it. He hangs up. I sit in the dark of my living room, feeling helpless and furious. They won't let me help. They won't let the vendor help. They're breaking their own system and refusing all assistance because of pride and paranoia. And when it crashes, they'll blame me anyway. This is my nightmare. This is the scenario I spent years trying to prevent. And now I'm watching it happen in real time, unable to stop it, knowing I'll be scapegoated for it. All because I took a sick day. All because I had the flu. My phone rings again. Different number this time. A number I recognize from client calls. It's Mason Bradley, the CTO of their biggest client. The company with the $50 million contract. I shouldn't answer, but I do. Caleb? Mason Bradley from TechCorp. I need to know what the hell is happening with your system. It's not my system anymore, Mason. I was fired 3 days ago. Silence on the other end. Then, you were fired? Yes, by email. While I was sick. That's impossible. You built that system. You maintain it. Who's running it now? I don't know. They assigned it to someone else. I'm not authorized to access anything anymore. Caleb, our dashboard has been frozen for 3 hours. We can't access our client data. We can't run reports. We can't do anything. What did you do? I didn't do anything. I was fired. I'm not allowed to access their systems. Whatever's happening isn't my doing. Then whose doing is it? You'll have to ask Apex Solutions. We've been calling them for 2 hours. Nobody will talk to us. They keep putting us on hold or transferring us to voicemail. I can't help you, Mason. I'm not their employee anymore. This is unacceptable. We have penalty clauses. If your system doesn't come back up by midnight, we're invoking the contract termination clause and suing for damages. Then you should call your CEO, because this isn't my problem anymore. I hang up. My hands are shaking. The biggest client is threatening to sue. They're going to invoke penalty clauses. This is exactly the catastrophe I warned about, and it's all falling apart less than 4 days after they fired me. My phone rings again. This time it's from Apex Solutions CEO direct line. Mr. Halbrook himself. I stare at the phone, debating. Then I answer. This is Caleb. Caleb, this is Alexander Halbrook. We need to talk now. I take a breath before responding. Stay calm, stay professional. Everything I say can and will be used against me. Mr. Halbrook, I'd prefer all communication to go through my attorney. Her name is... I don't care about your attorney right now. I care about my company. I care about the fact that our main client is threatening to sue us and our system is falling apart. What did you do? I didn't do anything. I was fired 3 days ago. I've had no access to your system since then. Whatever is happening isn't my doing. That's not what Donnelly tells me. He says you planted a kill switch, that you sabotaged the system before you left. That's a lie. Check the logs. External logs with the data center vendor. They'll show I haven't accessed anything since before I was terminated. Donnelly says you could have set something up in advance. A time bomb. Something that would trigger days later. Mr. Halbrook, think about what you're saying. I built that system from scratch. I spent 11 years perfecting it. Why would I destroy my own work? What would I gain from that? Silence on the other end. He's thinking, good. Then explain to me why the system is failing. Did Donnelly cancel the support contract with SecureHost? That's not relevant. It's absolutely relevant. Did he cancel it? He said it was too expensive. He found a cheaper vendor. The new vendor can't access the system. The old vendor can't help you because you canceled the contract. And the contract can't be transferred without my signature because I'm the authorized signer. You're running a critical system with no support whatsoever. Why can't you just sign the transfer paperwork? Because I don't work for you anymore. I don't have authority to sign anything on your behalf. And even if I wanted to help, your HR department sent me an email telling me to cease all contact with vendors. So I'm legally prohibited from doing exactly what you're asking. More silence. Then, this is insane. Yes, it is, but it's not my insanity. I warned Donnelly about single-point access risks months ago. I sent detailed reports. I requested budget for proper redundancy. He denied everything. He said I was being dramatic, and now you're living with the consequences of his decisions. Can you at least tell us how to fix it? Just general advice. No actual access. Just knowledge. Mr. Halbrook, I can't. If I give you advice and something goes wrong, you'll blame me. If I give you advice and it works, you'll accuse me of having secret access. There's no scenario where helping you doesn't hurt me. So you're just gonna let it crash? I'm not letting anything crash. You fired me. You removed my ability to help. You canceled the support contracts. You disabled the maintenance processes. You created this situation, not me. What maintenance processes? Ask Donnelly? Ask Brian. They've been disabling unnecessary background tasks all day. Those tasks aren't unnecessary. They're critical system maintenance. Cache management, log rotation, temporary file cleanup. Without them, the system degrades, which is exactly what's happening. How do you know they disabled those processes if you don't have access? I don't know. I'm guessing based on the symptoms. But if you check, I bet I'm right. And if I'm right, you need to re-enable those processes immediately. He's quiet for a moment. I hear typing in the background, then muffled conversation with someone else. Donnelly says we did disable some processes. He says they were consuming resources unnecessarily. They weren't unnecessary. They were essential. Re-enable them, all of them, right now. I'll have him do that. But Caleb, we need more than that. We need someone who can actually manage this system. Can you come back? As a consultant, we'll pay you well. No. Why not? I'll double your salary, triple it, whatever you want. Because Donnelly will still be there. Because the company culture that led to this disaster will still be there. Because nothing will have changed except you'll be desperate enough to pay me more. And when the crisis passes, you'll go right back to ignoring my advice and eventually fire me again. I'll make sure Donnelly doesn't interfere. Can you fire him? Pause. That's complicated. He's connected. He has relationships with our investors. Then no, I won't come back. Find someone else. There is no one else. You built this system. You're the only one who understands it. That's exactly what I warned you about. That's exactly the risk I documented. Single point of knowledge, single point of failure. I begged you to address it. You didn't, and now you're paying the price. So you're just going to watch us fail? I'm going to protect myself, which is what I should have been doing all along instead of protecting a company that clearly didn't value me. We value you now. No, you don't. You value my knowledge. There's a difference. You valued me so much that Donnelly fired me by email for being sick. That's how much I was valued. That was wrong. I agree. It was wrong. And we'll make it right. But first, please help us save the company. Mr. Halbrook, with all respect, it's not my job to save your company anymore. It's not my responsibility. You made that very clear when you terminated me. Please, our clients are threatening to sue. We could lose everything. Then you should have thought about that before firing your senior systems lead by email. I hang up. My hands are shaking. My heart is pounding. But I did it. I said no. I refused to save them. And it feels terrible and empowering at the same time. My phone rings again immediately. I don't answer. It rings 8 more times over the next 10 minutes. I ignore all of them. Then a text. This is Halbrook. Name your price. Anything. Just help us. I don't respond. Another text. We'll give you equity. We'll make you a VP. We'll fire Donnelly. Whatever you want. Still don't respond. A third text, fine, be that way, but when we go bankrupt, it's on you. I forward all the text to Paula with a note. CEO is trying to make me responsible for saving them after they fired me. Her response, don't engage. They're desperate and making threats. That's good for us. Keep documenting. I turn off my phone and sit in silence. This is the moment I've been dreading. The company is crashing and they're trying to make it my fault for not saving them. But I'm not responsible for saving them. I'm not responsible for fixing the problems they created. I'm not responsible for protecting them from their own negligence. I'm only responsible for protecting myself, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. Even if it means watching everything burn. Even if it means being the villain in their story. Because the truth is documented. The warnings are recorded, the emails exist, and when this is all over, when the dust settles and the lawyers finish fighting, the truth will come out. I hope. I don't sleep. Again, I lie in bed watching the ceiling, my mind racing through scenarios. What's happening at Apex right now? Is the system still running? Have they figured out how to re-enable the maintenance processes? Have they called the vendor for emergency help? At 4 a.m., I give up on sleep and make coffee. I sit at my kitchen table with my laptop, going through my personal archives. Every email I saved, every document I created, every warning I gave. I'm building a case. Not to attack them, to defend myself, because I know what's coming. I know they're going to blame me for everything, and when they do, I need to prove I tried to prevent it. At 7 a.m., my phone rings. Not my emergency phone, my regular phone. A number I don't recognize. I answer cautiously. Hello? Mr. Torres? This is Rebecca Chen from Consolidated Insurance. I'm the claims adjuster assigned to Apex Solutions business interruption claim. I need to ask you some questions. My stomach drops. They filed an insurance claim. They're already trying to get insurance money for the disaster. I'd prefer all communication go through my attorney. I understand. But Mr. Torres, this is just preliminary information gathering. I'm trying to understand the technical details of what happened. You're listed as the senior systems administrator, or you were, until recently. I was fired 4 days ago. Yes, I'm aware. That's part of what I'm investigating. Can you tell me, were you the only administrator with full access to the system? I pause. This is a trap. If I say yes, I'm admitting I was a single point of failure. If I say no, I'm lying. I was the only senior administrator. There were junior IT staff with limited access for routine tasks. And did you request that the company hire additional senior administrators? Multiple times. I submitted formal risk assessments. I requested budget for additional staff. I was denied. Do you have documentation of those requests? Yes. Emails, meeting minutes, risk reports, all dated and saved. I'd like copies of those documents, please, for the investigation. You'll need to get them through my attorney. Paula Reed. I'll give you her contact information. I give her Paula's number. She thanks me and hangs up. They're investigating. The insurance company is investigating. This is getting serious. I call Paula immediately. She answers on the second ring, sounding wide awake despite the early hour. Caleb, what's wrong? Insurance company just called. They're investigating a business interruption claim. They want my documentation. Good. Give them everything. I'll handle the transfer. This is actually great news. How is this great news? Because insurance companies don't pay out for negligence. If they determine that Apex Solutions created this situation through their own negligent management, they won't cover the claim. And that investigation will create an official record supporting your version of events. Oh, send me everything you have, every email, every report, every warning. I'll package it for the insurance investigator with proper documentation of dates and sources. I can do that today. Do it now. While you're motivated, while it's fresh, get me everything. I spend the next 3 hours compiling documents, every email where I warned about risks, every budget request that was denied, every meeting where I tried to explain the dangers of single-point access, every risk assessment that was ignored. By 10 a.m., I have a folder with 47 documents. I send it all to Paula. She calls me at noon. This is perfect. This is better than I hoped. Caleb, you documented everything. Most people don't do this. They just complain in meetings and move on. But you wrote it down. You created a paper trail. You protected yourself. I didn't do it to protect myself. I did it because I thought they'd eventually listen. Well, they didn't listen, but you're going to be very glad you kept records. I'm sending all of this to the insurance investigator this afternoon. What happens next? They investigate, they interview people, they look at logs and documentation, they determine cause, and then they make a decision about coverage. My guess? They'll deny the claim based on negligence, and when they do, it'll be official documentation that this wasn't your fault. And then we decide what you want to do. Sue for wrongful termination, sue for defamation, negotiate a settlement. It's up to you. I just want them to stop lying about me. We'll make that happen. But Caleb, you should know, you're in a strong position. Very strong. Don't sell yourself short. After I hang up with Paula, I try to do something normal. I need to apply for new jobs. I need to start networking. I need to rebuild my career. But before I can even update my resume, my phone rings again. Mason Bradley, the client CTO from TechCorp. Against my better judgment, I answer. Mason. Caleb, thank God. Listen, I need to understand what's happening. Our lawyers are preparing a lawsuit. We're going to invoke the penalty clauses. But before we do, I need to know, is this fixable? Can your company get the system back to normal? It's not my company anymore, Mason. I know, but answer the question. Can it be fixed? Probably. Eventually. But it'll take time, and it'll take someone who understands the architecture, which means either they need to hire someone qualified, or they need to get the vendor involved to do a full system restoration. How long? Depends. If they get the vendor involved immediately and authorize emergency service, maybe 2 weeks to get everything stable. If they try to figure it out themselves, could be months. Could be never. Months? Caleb, we have business to run. We can't wait months. Then you should invoke the penalty clauses and terminate the contract. That's your right. That's what those clauses are for. We're already preparing to do exactly that. But I wanted you to know, this isn't personal. You did good work. The system was solid until whatever happened. I appreciate that. And Mason? For what it's worth, I tried to prevent this. I warned them. Multiple times. They didn't listen. I believe you. Good luck, Caleb. You're gonna land on your feet. You're too talented not to. He hangs up, and just like that, the biggest client is gone. $50 million in contracts about to be terminated because the company fired me and then destroyed the system I built. The irony is almost funny. Almost. My phone rings again. Different number. I'm getting tired of phone calls. Hello? Caleb Torres? A man's voice. Official sounding. Yes. This is Detective Wallace from the Cybercrimes Division. I need to ask you some questions about alleged unauthorized computer access. My blood runs cold. I think you should talk to my attorney. We can do this the easy way or the hard way, Mr. Torres. I have questions. You can answer them voluntarily, or I can bring you in for formal questioning. Your choice. Give me 1 second. I text Paula. Police calling about alleged computer access. What do I do? Her response is immediate. Do not answer any questions. Give him my number. Hang up. I get back on the phone. Detective, I'm represented by counsel. All questions need to go through my attorney, Paula Reed. I give him her number. Are you refusing to cooperate? I'm exercising my right to legal representation. That makes you look guilty, you know. I'm not guilty of anything, but I'm also not stupid. Talk to my lawyer. I hang up. My hands are shaking. They called the police. They actually called the police and accused me of computer crimes. This is beyond lawsuits now. This is criminal. They're trying to have me arrested. Paula calls immediately. Detective Wallace just called me. He says Apex Solutions filed a complaint alleging unauthorized access to their systems. They're claiming you hacked in and sabotaged their infrastructure. That's insane. I haven't touched anything. The logs will prove it. I know. I told him that. I told him the logs are stored externally and will show exactly when you last accessed the system. I told him you've been documenting everything. He's going to investigate, but he seemed skeptical of their claims once I explained the timeline. What if he doesn't believe me? Then we prove it. We get the vendor logs. We show exactly when you last accessed anything. We demonstrate that everything that's happened occurred after you lost access. We prove you couldn't have done it even if you wanted to. This is a nightmare. I know, but hang in there. This is them panicking. This is them throwing everything at the wall to see what sticks. It won't stick. We have evidence, we have documentation, we have truth. That's more powerful than their lies. I hope you're right. I am. Now I need you to do something for me. I need you to contact the data center vendor directly, through email only, documented, and request copies of all access logs for the last 2 weeks. We need official documentation showing your last access was before termination. They might not give them to me. Those are sensitive records. They will when I send them a formal legal request, but try the friendly approach first. See if Andre will help you. I email Andre. I need a favor. Can you pull the access logs for my account for the last 2 weeks? I'm being accused of unauthorized access, and I need to prove I haven't touched anything since I was fired. Paula Reed, my attorney, will send a formal request, but if you can help expedite this, I'd appreciate it. His response comes in 5 minutes. Already pulled them when the detective called. You're clean. Your last access was 5 days ago at 3:17 p.m. Nothing since then. Sending copies to your attorney now. Good luck. You're going to need it. 5 days ago, the day before I got sick. Exactly as I knew it would be. They accused me of hacking, of sabotage, of crimes, and the logs prove I did nothing. This is it. This is the evidence that clears me. This is proof. Now I just need to survive long enough to use it. That night, I try to eat dinner. I can't. My stomach is in knots. I keep thinking about the police investigation, about the criminal accusations, about everything falling apart. At 11:45 p.m. my phone rings. Mr. Donnelly. I shouldn't answer, but I do. I need to know what he's thinking, what he's planning. Caleb. His voice is different, aggressive, borderline violent. You think you're so smart, don't you? Mr. Donnelly, I'm represented by counsel. I don't give a damn about your lawyer. You destroyed my company. You sabotaged the system. And now you're hiding behind lawyers and insurance investigators and police. I didn't sabotage anything. The logs prove it. Logs can be faked. Not these logs. They're stored externally. Your company has no access to modify them. Then you must have set something up before you were fired. A timer, a virus, something. Or maybe, and this is crazy, I know maybe the system is failing because you canceled the support contract, disabled critical maintenance processes, and fired the only person who understood the architecture. Maybe that's the problem. Not sabotage, just consequences. He's breathing heavily on the other end, angry, barely controlled. Fix it, he says finally. No. Fix it, or we'll ruin you. We'll press charges. We'll sue you for every penny. We'll make sure you never work in this industry again. We'll destroy your reputation, your career, your life. Fix it, or we'll ruin you. Mr. Donnelly, I'm going to say this once, very clearly. I will not fix your system. I do not have access. I do not have authorization. I do not work for you. And most importantly, I do not owe you anything. You created this situation. You live with it. You arrogant piece of... Everything you've said on this phone call is being recorded. And it's going to my attorney. Your threats are documented. Your harassment is documented. And when this goes to court, and it will go to court, all of this will be evidence. So please, keep talking. Keep threatening. Keep proving that you're the problem, not me. I'm bluffing about the recording. My phone doesn't record. But he doesn't know that. He's silent for a long moment. Then, you're going to regret this. Maybe, but I'll regret it with a clear conscience. Can you say the same? He hangs up. I sit there, shaking with adrenaline. I just threatened my former boss. I just stood up to him. I just refused to be bullied. It feels good. Terrifying, but good. 5 minutes later, an email arrives. It's from Apex Solutions Legal Department. The subject line, Litigation Hold Notice. I open it with dread. Mr. Torres, you are hereby notified that Apex Solutions has initiated legal proceedings related to your unauthorized access of company systems and the resulting damage to company infrastructure and client relationships. You are required to preserve all documents, emails, computer files, and electronic data related to your employment and subsequent termination. Failure to preserve evidence will be considered spoliation and may result in additional penalties. You will be formally served with legal documents within 7 business days. Lawrence Cheng, General Counsel, Apex Solutions. They're suing me. Formally, criminal charges weren't enough. Now they're suing me civilly, too. I forward the email to Paula with a note. They're suing. What do I do? Her response comes at 12:30 a.m. She's awake. She's probably been expecting this. Don't panic. This is posturing. They're trying to scare you. It won't work. We have evidence. We have documentation. We have truth. They have lies and desperation. Let them sue. We'll countersue for wrongful termination, defamation, and emotional distress. By the time this is done, they'll wish they'd never fired you. Get some sleep. We start fighting back tomorrow. I try to sleep. I really do, but my mind won't stop. They're suing me. They're claiming I'm a criminal. They're trying to destroy my life because I refuse to clean up their mess. This is what standing up for yourself costs. This is the price of boundaries. This is what happens when you refuse to be a victim. And I have to decide if I'm strong enough to pay it. I stare at the ceiling until dawn, exhausted, terrified, but determined. They want to fight? They'll get one, because I have something they don't have, the truth, and documentation to prove it. The next morning, I wake up to 23 missed calls and 14 emails, all from numbers I don't recognize. All from Apex Solutions employees, clients, and vendors, all wanting something from me. I ignore them all. Paula was clear, no communication except through her. At 9 a.m., I get an email from Apex Solutions HR. This one is different from the others. More formal, more threatening. Mr. Torres, you are in violation of your employment agreement. Section 7.3 specifically prohibits any communication with current employees regarding company matters. Multiple employees have reported that you contacted them with instructions regarding system operations. This constitutes interference with company business. You are hereby warned that any further contact with employees or vendors will result in immediate legal action. You are also reminded that all company property, including knowledge of proprietary systems, remains the property of Apex Solutions, even after termination. Any disclosure of proprietary information will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Ashley Monroe, HR Director. I read it 3 times. They're claiming I contacted employees. They're claiming I gave instructions. They're claiming I violated my employment agreement. All lies. I forward it to Paula. They're claiming I contacted employees. I didn't. They contacted me. What do I do? Her response, forward me every communication you've received from them. Show me who contacted whom. Show me timestamps. Show me everything. I spend the next hour compiling every text, every call log, every email. I create a document showing clearly that every communication was initiated by them, not me. Nate called me. Mason called me. Andre called me. The insurance investigator called me. I answered, but I didn't initiate. Paula calls me at 10:30. This is good. This is very good. They're claiming you contacted people, but your phone records show they contacted you. That's defamation. That's a false claim made in writing. We can use this. So what do? We respond formally. We document that you did not initiate any contact. We document that you've been answering calls from people who have legitimate questions. We document that their HR claim is factually false, and then we add it to our growing case file. How big is that file now? Substantial. We have wrongful termination. We have documented evidence that they ignored safety warnings. We have their own logs proving you didn't access their systems. We have witness statements from the vendor. We have the insurance investigation. And now we have defamation in their HR letter. Caleb, you're in a very strong position. Then why does it feel like I'm losing? Because they're loud. They're making accusations. They're filing suits. They're creating drama. But noise isn't the same as substance. When we get to court, noise doesn't matter. Evidence matters. And we have all the evidence. When do we get to court? Probably a few months. These things take time. But in the meantime, we keep documenting. We keep building our case, and we let them keep making mistakes. After I hang up with Paula, I try to focus on job hunting. I need income. I need to move forward with my life. But every time I start updating my resume, I get another call or email or text pulling me back into the Apex disaster. At 2 p.m., my emergency phone rings. I shouldn't answer it, but old habits die hard. Hello? Caleb, it's Andre. You need to know something. The system just went down, completely. Total failure. Everything's offline. My stomach drops. When? About 20 minutes ago. Everything just stopped. No warning, no alerts, just gone. What's the client impact? Total. All clients are offline. All data is inaccessible. All services are down. This is the catastrophic failure you warned them about. Are they calling you for emergency support? They can't. They canceled the contract, remember? We have no active agreement. We can't legally provide support without a contract. So what happens now? They're on their own unless they sign an emergency service agreement, which they'll have to do at our premium emergency rates, which are about 10 times normal rates. How long to get back online? If they sign the agreement immediately? Maybe 12 hours, maybe longer. We don't even know what caused the failure. We have no monitoring. We have no logs. We'll be diagnosing blind. And if they don't sign immediately? Could be days, could be weeks, could be never if the data is corrupted. Oh God. Caleb, this is bad. This is the worst case scenario, and they're going to blame you for all of it. I know. What are you going to do? What can I do? I don't work there. I'm not authorized. I'm being sued by them. I can't help even if I wanted to. I'm sorry, man. This is such a mess. He hangs up. I sit in silence processing. The system crashed. Completely. Total failure. Exactly what I warned would happen. Exactly the scenario I spent years trying to prevent. And now it's happened, and I'm going to be blamed for it. My phone starts ringing. Mr. Halbrook, Mr. Donnelly, numbers I don't recognize. Everyone is calling, probably panicking, probably wanting me to fix it. I don't answer any of them. I can't. Paula was clear, no communication. Instead, I call Paula. The system crashed, completely, total failure. They're gonna blame me. Good. Good? How is this good? Because now we have the disaster, the actual catastrophic event. And we have documented proof that you warned them it would happen. We have proof you tried to prevent it. We have proof they ignored you. And we have proof, from external logs, that you couldn't have caused it because you had no access. They'll say I planted something. Let them. Let them claim you planted a time bomb. Then we'll bring in expert forensics. We'll show the court exactly what caused the failure. We'll prove it was natural degradation from lack of maintenance. We'll prove it was their negligence, not your sabotage. And when we prove that, their entire case collapses. This is going to cost me everything. No, this is going to cost them everything. You're going to be fine. Better than fine. You're going to be vindicated. I want to believe her. But right now, watching my life's work collapse while everyone blames me, it's hard to feel optimistic. At 4 p.m., I get a call from Detective Wallace. Against Paula's advice, I answer. I need to know what the police are thinking. Mr. Torres, we've reviewed the access logs from the data center. You're clear. You didn't access the system after termination. The criminal complaint appears to be without merit. I could cry with relief. Thank you. However, the company is claiming you set up the sabotage before you were fired. Is that possible? No, I built safety systems, not destruct systems. Everything I built was designed to be stable and reliable, the opposite of sabotage. The company's system is currently down. Total failure. They're claiming you caused it. I didn't. Check the logs from before I was fired. Check the system architecture. Check everything. You'll see that what I built was solid. What failed was their management of it after they fired me. We'll be investigating further. But Mr. Torres, you might want to prepare for this to get more complicated before it gets simpler. I understand. Thank you for calling. He hangs up. At least the police are doing actual investigation instead of just believing Apex's lies. That's something. At 6 p.m. I get another email. This one is from a law firm I don't recognize. Mr. Torres, we represent TechCorp Industries regarding their contract with Apex Solutions. Our client has suffered significant damages due to system failures. While we understand you are no longer employed by Apex Solutions, we are investigating all parties who may have contributed to the failure, including the original system architect. We request that you preserve all documentation related to the system design and implementation. You may be called as a witness in subsequent litigation. Morgan & Associates, attorneys at law. Great. Now the clients are investigating me too. Not suing me yet, but investigating, because of course they are. I forward it to Paula. Her response: let them investigate. They'll discover you designed a good system that was destroyed by bad management. This actually helps us. I'm too exhausted to understand how any of this helps. All I know is that my life has become a nightmare of accusations, investigations, and legal threats. All because I took a sick day. All because I had the flu. All because my boss decided to fire me instead of letting me rest and recover. That night, I don't even try to sleep. I sit at my kitchen table, surrounded by documents and emails and evidence, preparing for the fight of my life. Because that's what this has become. Not a job dispute. Not a wrongful termination case. A fight for my reputation, my career, my future, and I have to win. Because losing means being remembered as the saboteur who destroyed a $50 million company. And I won't let that happen. I can't. So I fight with documents, with evidence, with truth. And I hope it's enough. The next morning, Paula calls at 8 a.m. She sounds energized, almost excited. We need to meet. Today now. I have news. I drive to her office. When I arrive, she has documents spread across her entire conference table. Printouts, highlighted sections, sticky notes everywhere. Sit, she says. We need to talk about your employment contract. What about it? Do you remember signing a non-compete clause? Vaguely. They make everyone sign one, but I never paid much attention to it. She slides a document across the table. My employment contract from 11 years ago. Section 9 is highlighted. Read this carefully. I read, employee agrees not to compete with company in any capacity for a period of one year following termination. Employee agrees not to solicit company clients or reveal company proprietary information. Violation of this clause will result in legal action and monetary damages. Okay, so I can't work for a competitor for a year. That's standard. Read the next paragraph. I do. This non-compete is valid only if employee is terminated for cause or voluntarily resigns. If employee is terminated without cause, this non-compete clause is void. I look up at Paula. They fired me without cause. Exactly, you were fired for being sick. That's not cause, that's wrongful termination, which means your non-compete is void. So, I've been contacted by 3 of Apex Solutions clients asking if you're available for consulting work. They want to hire you directly. They want you to rebuild their infrastructure without Apex Solutions as the middleman. My brain is trying to catch up. Wait, what? After the system crashed, multiple clients started asking questions about who built it. Your name kept coming up. When they learned you'd been fired, they started reaching out to me. They want to hire you. But Apex will sue me for violating the non-compete. Let them try. The non-compete is void. They fired you without cause. Any attempt to enforce it will fail. And if they try, we'll countersue for tortious interference with business relationships. I sit back in my chair processing. Companies want to hire me? After all of this? They don't believe Apex's narrative. They know good technical talent when they see it. And they're willing to pay top dollar for someone who can build systems that actually work. What about the investigations? The criminal complaint? The lawsuit? None of that has been proven. You're innocent until proven guilty. And given the evidence we have, I'm confident nothing will be proven. These companies know that. They're willing to take the risk. How much are they offering? Paula smiles. One company is offering $250 per hour for consulting work. Another is offering $300. The third is offering a full-time position at double your previous salary, plus equity. I can't speak. I literally can't form words. Less than a week ago, I was fired for being sick. Now companies are competing to hire me. Caleb, you need to understand what's happening. Apex Solutions is collapsing. Their clients are jumping ship, and they're looking for someone to trust. That someone is you, because you built something good and everyone knows it. But what about the accusations? What about the investigation? What about all of it? She leans forward. Here's what I recommend. Take the consulting work. Start rebuilding your reputation and your income. Document everything you do. Make sure it's all above board and legal. And when Apex inevitably tries to claim you're violating the non-compete, we'll destroy them in court with their own wrongful termination. This feels too good to be true. It's not. It's justice. It's consequences. It's them paying for their mistakes while you succeed despite their attempts to destroy you. What about the wrongful termination suit? Do we still pursue that? Absolutely. That's separate. That's about holding them accountable for what they did to you. But in the meantime, you need income. You need to rebuild your career, take the consulting work. I think about it for maybe 10 seconds. Then yes, I'll take it. Good. I'll set up the contracts. Everything will go through my office for legal protection. You'll be officially contracted through a consulting LLC. We'll set up. Everything documented, everything legal, everything by the book. When do I start? One of the companies wants you immediately. They're willing to pay premium rates for emergency work. Their infrastructure is currently offline because of the Apex failure. They need someone who can get them back online fast. I can do that. But Paula, I need to be very careful. I can't access anything from Apex. I can't use any of their proprietary code. I have to build everything fresh. I know, and you will. But Caleb, you built that system from scratch once. You can build it again, better this time, because you've learned from the mistakes. She's right. I built Apex's infrastructure with limited resources and constant interference from people who didn't understand what I was doing. With proper support and proper budget, I can build something even better. Let's do it, I say. Over the next hour, Paula walks me through the legal framework. We'll set up a consulting LLC. All client contracts will go through that LLC. All work will be documented. All communication will be professional and recorded. And most importantly, everything will be completely legal. No trade secrets, no proprietary code, no questionable practices. Just clean, professional consulting work. By the time I leave her office, I have my first consulting contract. Emergency infrastructure restoration for a mid-sized tech company. $300 per hour, estimated 40 hours of work. That's $12,000 for 1 week of work. That's more than I made in a month at Apex Solutions. I drive home feeling something I haven't felt in days. Hope. Maybe this is going to work out. Maybe I'm going to survive this. Maybe I'm going to be okay. That evening, I start work on the consulting project. The company gives me full access to their systems. I analyze the damage from the Apex failure. I start designing a recovery plan. It feels good to be working again. It feels good to be solving problems. It feels good to be valued. And it feels really, really good to be making money while Apex Solutions burns. At 10 p.m., my phone rings. Mr. Donnelly. I answer, feeling confident for the first time. Mr. Donnelly, you piece of shit? You're consulting for our clients? You're stealing our business? I'm providing services to companies that need help. Companies that your failures left stranded. You're in violation of your non-compete. We're going to sue you for breach of contract. Go ahead. My attorney would love that. Because the non-compete is void. You fired me without cause, and any attempt to enforce a void contract will result in me countersuing. So please, make my day. Sue me. You can't do this. I absolutely can. I'm not using any Apex property. I'm not using any Apex code. I'm not revealing any trade secrets. I'm just doing good work for clients who need it. Completely legal. We'll destroy you. You've been trying to destroy me for a week now. How's that working out for you? He hangs up. I sit there, smiling despite myself. They're panicking. They're losing. And I'm winning. For the first time since this nightmare began, I'm actually winning. The next few days pass in a blur of work. I'm rebuilding infrastructure, solving problems, getting paid well for it. My first consulting project goes smoothly. The client is thrilled. They refer me to another company, then another. Within a week, I have more work than I can handle. Companies are calling me directly, asking if I'm available. Word is spreading that I'm the guy who built the Apex system. And now I'm available, without Apex as the middleman. Paula is managing all the contracts, making sure everything is documented and legal. Every agreement specifies that I'm not using any Apex property or trade secrets. Every agreement includes confidentiality clauses protecting me. It's working. I'm surviving this. I'm rebuilding. But then on Friday morning, Paula calls with news. Caleb, we got the forensic report. What forensic report? I hired an independent forensic examiner to analyze what happened to the Apex system. We needed evidence showing the failure wasn't sabotage. We needed proof it was natural system degradation from poor management. And? The report is devastating. For them. It shows clearly that the system failure was caused by disabled maintenance processes, insufficient monitoring, and lack of qualified oversight. No evidence of sabotage, no evidence of malicious code, no evidence of any deliberate destruction. Just negligence. That's good, right? It's better than good. It's complete vindication. But Caleb, there's more. What? The examiner found something interesting. Someone made unauthorized changes to the system a week before it crashed. Someone with limited technical knowledge tried to implement security changes without understanding the consequences. Who? Based on the access logs, it was Mr. Donnelly himself. He accessed the administrative panel using an account that should have been admin only and changed several security settings, including the encryption keys. I sit up straight. He changed the encryption keys? Yes. And he didn't understand that changing the encryption keys without proper key rotation protocols would lock out all the other administrators, including himself. So he locked everyone out of the system, including himself? Exactly. The system was still running, but nobody could access the administrative functions. And because the maintenance processes were disabled, the system gradually degraded until it crashed. He did this to himself. He absolutely did. He tried to lock you out, even though you were already fired, and he ended up locking out everyone, including himself. I start laughing. I can't help it. It's too perfect. Too ridiculously perfect. Mr. Donnelly, in his paranoia about me having secret access, changed the security settings without understanding what he was doing. And he destroyed the system himself. This is amazing, I say. It gets better. The forensic report includes timestamps. The unauthorized changes were made 3 days after you were fired, which means the logs definitively prove you couldn't have made those changes. You had no access. You were already terminated. The destruction was entirely self-inflicted. Can we use this? We're going to use this for everything. This proves you didn't sabotage anything. This proves they destroyed their own system through incompetence. This proves every accusation they made against you was false. Caleb, this is the smoking gun. What happens now? Now we go on offense. I'm filing a formal motion to dismiss any criminal investigation. I'm filing a counterclaim for wrongful termination, defamation, and emotional distress. And I'm sending this report to every client, every investor, and every insurance investigator involved in this mess. Won't that make them angry? They're already angry. They're already attacking you. This is us fighting back with facts, with evidence, with truth. Do it. That afternoon, Paula sends the forensic report to everyone, the insurance company, the detective, Apex's attorneys, the clients who are investigating. By evening, my phone is ringing off the hook. But this time, the calls are different. The insurance investigator calls to say the claim is being denied due to negligent management. No coverage. Apex is on their own for all the damages. The detective calls to say the criminal investigation is being closed. No evidence of wrongdoing by me. Case dismissed. One of the clients calls to say they're withdrawing their information request. They're satisfied I'm not at fault. They're moving forward with hiring me for their own infrastructure project. Everything is shifting. The narrative is changing. The truth is coming out. And the truth is that I did nothing wrong. I warned them. I documented. I followed procedure. And they destroyed themselves through their own arrogance and incompetence. That evening, I'm at home celebrating with takeout Chinese food when someone knocks on my door. I check the peephole cautiously. It's Nate. My former coworker from Apex. He looks terrible. Exhausted, stressed, defeated. I open the door. Nate, what are you doing here? Can I come in? I need to talk to you, please. I let him in. He sits on my couch and puts his head in his hands. They fired me, he says. 2 hours ago. Donnelly called me into his office and fired me. No warning, no explanation, just fired. Why? He said I was disloyal. He said I was helping you. He said I betrayed the company. Nate looks up at me with tears in his eyes. Caleb, I didn't help you. I mean, I warned you about things, but I didn't sabotage anything. I didn't do anything wrong. I know you didn't. But that doesn't matter. Donnelly is on a rampage. He's firing everyone he thinks might be disloyal. Half the IT department is gone. He's paranoid and desperate and lashing out at everyone. I'm sorry. Can you help me? Can you hire me? I know you're consulting now. I know you're getting work. I'm good at what I do. You trained me. Please, I need a job. I look at him. He's young, talented, hardworking. He doesn't deserve this, but hiring him means taking on more risk, more connection to Apex, more potential for accusations. Nate, I want to help, but I need to talk to my attorney first. I need to make sure hiring you won't compromise anything legally. I understand. But Caleb, I don't have anyone else. You're the only person who can help me. Let me call Paula. Right now, we'll figure this out. I call Paula and explain the situation. She's quiet for a moment, thinking, bring him to my office tomorrow morning. I need to interview him. I need to understand exactly what he knows and what he can testify to. If he's willing to be a witness in your case, That changes things. He could be valuable. A witness? He worked there. He saw what happened. He can testify about Donnelly's behavior, about the system changes, about everything. He's evidence, Caleb. Living, breathing evidence. I relay this to Nate. He nods eagerly. I'll testify. I'll tell them everything. Donnelly is destroying that company. Someone needs to stop him. Then meet us at Paula's office tomorrow at 9 a.m. We'll figure out how to move forward. After Nate leaves, I sit in my living room, processing everything. The forensic report clears me. The investigations are closing. The truth is coming out. And now I have a witness who can testify about what really happened inside Apex. This is no longer just survival. This is winning. This is justice. And I'm starting to believe it might actually happen. The next morning, Nate meets us at Paula's office. He's nervous, fidgeting, clearly scared about what he's gotten himself into. But he's there, which means he's serious. Paula interviews him for 2 hours. She asks detailed questions about everything. The system architecture, Mr. Donnelly's behavior, the security changes, the fired employees, everything. Nate answers carefully, honestly. He shows her text messages, he shows her emails. He provides documentation of everything he witnessed. When she's done, Paula sits back and smiles. This is perfect. This is exactly what we need. So you'll help him? I ask. Better than that, I'm going to represent him too. Separate case, but related. Another wrongful termination. More evidence of a pattern of retaliation. More proof that Apex Solutions is imploding under Donnelly's leadership. What about hiring him? I ask. Yes. Hire him. Put him on your consulting team. But everything goes through proper LLC channels. Everything documented. Everything legal. No chance for Apex to claim anything improper. I can't pay him full-time yet. I'm still building the business. Pay him as a contractor. Buy the project. It'll work out better for both of you anyway. More flexible. Nate looks like he's about to cry with relief. Thank you. Thank you so much. Don't thank us yet, Paula says. You're going to be a key witness in this case. That means depositions. That means potentially testifying in court. That means Apex's lawyers are going to come after you hard. Are you ready for that? Yes, I'm ready. They wronged both of us. Someone needs to speak up. Good. Then let's get to work. Over the next week, things accelerate fast. Paula files the countersuit against Apex Solutions, wrongful termination for me, wrongful termination for Nate, defamation, emotional distress, the whole package. The forensic report is included as evidence, Nate's testimony is included, my documentation is included, everything we've built is laid out in a formal legal complaint. Apex Solutions has to respond within 30 days. While we wait, I focus on work. I'm running my consulting business, taking on projects, building my reputation. Nate works with me on several projects. He's good, really good, and he's grateful for the opportunity. The money is coming in steadily now. I'm making more than I ever made at Apex. I'm working for multiple clients. I'm building something sustainable. 3 weeks after Paula files the suit, we get Apex's response. Their attorney filed a motion to dismiss, claiming our suit has no merit. They're still denying everything. Paula reads their response and laughs. They're doubling down. They're still claiming you sabotaged the system, even with the forensic report proving otherwise. Can they do that? They can try, but it won't work. We have too much evidence. Judge will see through this immediately. She's right. 2 weeks later, we have a hearing. The judge reviews the evidence, our documentation, the forensic report, the access logs, everything. He denies Apex's motion to dismiss. The case proceeds. That's huge, Paula tells me afterward. The judge essentially said our case has merit. That means we're going to trial unless they settle. Will they settle? They'd be smart to. But smart isn't a word I'd use to describe their current leadership. She's right about that. Instead of settling, Apex Solutions doubles down. They leak information to the press. They try to paint me as a disgruntled employee who destroyed a company. But the press does actual investigation. They find the forensic report. They interview former employees. They interview clients. And the story that emerges is very different from Apex's narrative. Tech company implodes after firing key employee, reads one headline. System administrator vindicated in sabotage claims, reads another. Company destroyed own infrastructure through negligence, reads a third. The truth is getting out. The public narrative is shifting. I'm not the villain anymore. I'm the victim. And more importantly, I'm the competent professional who tried to prevent a disaster. My phone starts ringing with job offers. Companies want to hire me full-time. Recruiters are calling. I'm turning down more work than I'm accepting. This is the opposite of how I thought this would end. Instead of being destroyed, I'm thriving. Instead of being unemployed and unemployable, I'm in demand. And Apex? Apex is collapsing. 3 of their biggest clients terminated their contracts. Their insurance denied their claim. Their investors are asking questions. Their employees are jumping ship. Mr. Donnelly is still there, but barely. I hear through Nate that there's a board meeting scheduled to discuss his future, and I'm not vindictive enough to celebrate someone else's failure. But I'm human enough to feel satisfaction that the truth came out. That evening, Paula calls with news. They want to settle. Apex? Yes. Their attorney called. They're willing to discuss settlement terms. They want to end this before it goes to trial. What kind of terms? That's what we need to discuss. What do you want, Caleb? Money? A public apology? Your job back? What would make this right? I think about it for a long time. What do I want? I want them to admit they were wrong, publicly. I want a statement saying I didn't sabotage anything, that I warned them about the risks, that the failure was their fault, not mine. I want my name cleared. What about money? Enough to cover my legal fees and lost wages. I don't need to punish them financially. They're already punishing themselves. I just want the truth acknowledged. That's very reasonable. More reasonable than they deserve, but I'll negotiate for you. Let me see what I can get. 2 days later, Paula calls with an offer. They're willing to settle. Here are the terms. They'll issue a public statement acknowledging that you didn't sabotage the system. They'll state that the system failure was due to internal management decisions. They'll pay you $150,000 for lost wages and emotional distress. And they'll agree not to contest your unemployment claim or interfere with your future employment. What about an apology? They won't apologize directly, but the public statement essentially amounts to an apology. They're admitting fault. What about Nate? Separate settlement. $75,000 in the same public statement. Is this a good deal? It's a great deal. It gives you everything you wanted. Vindication, compensation, and freedom to move forward. I'd recommend taking it. I think about it. About everything I've been through. About the accusations, the investigations, the sleepless nights, the fear. And about where I am now. Successful. Independent. Vindicated. Let's take it, I say. Good. I'll finalize the terms. You should have a check within 2 weeks. 2 weeks later, Apex Solutions issues a press release. Apex Solutions wishes to clarify recent events regarding the departure of former employee Caleb Torres. Following an internal investigation and review of forensic evidence, we acknowledge that Mr. Torres did not engage in any sabotage or misconduct related to our system failure. The failure was the result of internal operational decisions. We regret any misunderstanding and wish Mr. Torres well in his future endeavors. It's not a full apology, it's corporate speak, but it's enough. It's acknowledgement, it's truth. My name is cleared, officially, publicly, completely. The settlement money hits my account 2 weeks after the public statement. $150,000, more money than I've ever had at one time. I pay Paula her fees, I pay off my credit cards, I put the rest in savings, and I keep working. My consulting business is thriving. I have steady clients. Nate is working with me full-time now. We're building something sustainable. But I'm not satisfied yet. Because Mr. Donnelly is still at Apex. He's still making decisions. He's still destroying what's left of the company. And part of me wants to see that through. Wants to watch it all fall apart. Wants to see him face consequences. I don't have to wait long. 3 months after the settlement, I hear through former colleagues that Apex Solutions is being acquired, not bought out by a competitor, liquidated, assets sold to pay debts. The company is being dissolved. Mr. Donnelly is fired as part of the acquisition agreement. The investors want him gone. The board wants him gone. Everyone wants him gone. He's now unemployed. Unemployable. His reputation in the industry is destroyed. Nobody will hire him. Nobody will work with him. And I feel nothing. Not satisfaction, not vindication, just emptiness. Because none of this should have happened. None of it had to happen. If they'd just let me take a sick day, if they'd just listened to my warnings, if they just valued the work instead of cutting costs. But they didn't. And now the company is gone. And dozens of people lost their jobs. And millions of dollars were lost. All because someone decided that firing a sick employee was more important than maintaining critical infrastructure. Paula calls me one afternoon. Have you seen the news about Donnelly? Yeah, he's done. He's more than done. One of the former Apex clients is suing him personally for negligence. They're going after him for breach of fiduciary duty. He could lose everything. Good. Is it? Is it good? I think about that. I don't know. He hurt a lot of people. He destroyed a company. He tried to destroy my career. So yeah, maybe it is good that he faces consequences. Fair enough. Hey, different topic. I have a potential client who wants to meet with you. They're looking for someone to advise them on infrastructure planning, prevent them from making the same mistakes Apex made. Who is it? Mid-sized fintech company, growing fast. They want to build right from the beginning. They specifically asked for you by name. How much are they paying? $200,000 annual retainer for quarterly consulting, plus project fees for implementation work. I whistle. That's substantial. You're in demand, Caleb. You've proven yourself. You've shown you can build good systems and navigate corporate politics. Companies value that. Set up the meeting. The meeting goes well. The fintech company is smart, well-funded, and willing to listen to advice. They hire me on the spot. $200,000 retainer. I'm officially financially stable. More than stable. I'm successful. I'm thriving. I'm building a career that's bigger and better than anything I had at Apex. All because they fired me. All because their attempt to destroy me backfired spectacularly. 6 months after the settlement, I run into Mr. Halbrook, the former Apex CEO. He's at a coffee shop near my office. He sees me and actually walks over. Caleb, can we talk? I don't want to, but curiosity wins. Sure. We sit at a corner table. He looks older, tired, defeated. I owe you an apology, he says. I should have listened to you. I should have overruled Donnelly. I should have protected the system and the people who built it. Yes, you should have. I was weak. I let Donnelly convince me that cutting costs was more important than maintaining quality, and it destroyed everything I built. What are you doing now? Consulting. Ironically, advising startups on what not to do, using Apex as a cautionary tale. He laughs bitterly. I'm literally being paid to tell people not to make the mistakes I made. That's something, I guess. Caleb, I need to ask you something. How did you do it? How did you survive this? How did you come out ahead when everyone else crashed? I think about his question. How did I survive? I documented everything, I say finally. I warned them. I put it in writing. I protected myself with evidence, and when they tried to destroy me, I had proof that I'd done everything right. That's it? Documentation? That's most of it. Documentation and a good lawyer, and refusing to give up even when it felt hopeless. I should have protected you. I should have listened. Yeah, you should have. But you didn't. And now we both have to live with the consequences. He nods. For what it's worth, I'm glad you're doing well. You deserve better than what we gave you. Thanks, I think. He leaves. I sit there with my coffee, thinking about everything that happened. How my life was destroyed and rebuilt in less than a year. How the lowest point became a turning point. How being fired for being sick turned out to be the best thing that ever happened to me. Because I'm free now. I'm independent. I'm successful. And I'm in control of my own career instead of being controlled by people who don't value me. That evening, I call Paula to thank her. For everything. For believing me. For fighting for me. For helping me survive the worst experience of my life. You did this, not me, she says. I just helped you use the evidence you'd already created. You protected yourself, Caleb. I just showed you how. Still, thank you. You're welcome. Now go build something amazing, because that's what you do. I hang up and look out my office window. The sun is setting over the city. Somewhere out there, Mr. Donnelly is probably bitter and angry. Somewhere out there, Mr. Halbrook is consulting and regretting. Somewhere out there, Apex Solutions is being liquidated and forgotten. And I'm here, successful, independent, vindicated. All because I documented everything. All because I stayed calm. All because I let the evidence speak instead of trying to fight with words. All because I did the right thing, even when it was the hardest thing. And that's the lesson I'll carry forward. Document everything, stay calm, trust the process, and let the truth do the work. Because in the end, truth wins. Not always immediately, not always easily. But eventually, if you have evidence, if you have integrity, if you have patience, truth wins. And I won. Not because I destroyed them, but because I built something better while they destroyed themselves.